What's the story, guys? Welcome to another podcast. Today's podcast is proudly sponsored by Tidl Sport Recovery Hemp-Powered Spray.
Now, guys, let me tell you, this is a blasted cold like you've never felt before. It's got cannabinoids. It's got CBD. If you're injured, spray this on. Pain goes away.
Inflammation goes away. I call it the game changer. So just check them out on tidlsport.com. We're also sponsored by Urban Performance Labs. When it comes to sports performance, supplementation is a key. Go check them out, urbanperformancelabs.com. How could we forget MMA Uncensored is the #1 mixed martial arts site on the internet today. For all your mixed martial arts needs, go to MMA Uncensored, leave a comment, give them a follow, tell them Marcus from What Happens Here sent you. And of course, today's episode is proudly powered by...
In Ireland, the highest form of compliment in any pub is an insult. So I'm considered quite complimentary. Proper No.12 Irish Whiskey.
What's the story, guys? Welcome to another podcast. Welcome to the show. Marcus Deegan from What Happens Here. Shooting here from Sin City at Show Creators Studios. Thanks very much for joining us again. I'm not sure which episode it is, like 54 or 55 or something like that. Thanks very much if you're listening to us on Spotify, iHeartRadio. Man, we do really appreciate it. And if you're watching us on YouTube, make sure you like, subscribe, follow, send it to one of your mates. Thanks very much for joining us. Hey, check it out. The good thing about this podcast is I get to interview so many badasses that if I'm ever out at a bar with these dudes, I know I'm completely safe. This guy right now, man, he's fought in a couple of the biggest promotions in the world, and now he's back at the UFC, and I'm really pumped about it. He's a bantamweight with 16 wins. Man, this kid is in the studio live today, but don't take it from me. Check this out. Welcome to the podcast, UFC bantamweight, Anthony Birchak. What's up, brother?
What's up, Mr. Deegan? How are you?
I'm good, man. I could see, like, the pupil, when you were watching that sizzle reel then, the pupils of your eyes, that was weird. They went black.
Okay, so after I threw that skip knee and I pushed him on the cage and I just fell down, that's when I tore the whole inside of my groin. And I remember I just had zero stability. So watching it right now, I was like, you fucking goofy bastard.
Isn't that funny that when you look at something like that, you think back to the injury that happened during that fight? Because I know groin injuries, man, they fucking take ages to heal, right?
It's crazy because that first kick that I threw where I went jab, low kick real hard, that's the kick that I tore it on. And it felt like someone slapped me on the inside of my thigh. And then it felt like somebody was running a lighter up and down the inside.
That hot
just
burn.
Burning. I didn't know anything had happened until the next day. I was in the Houston airport or Dallas airport on the way to Houston, and I sat down on the toilet, and my whole inside from my balls to my knee, black, green, purple, and I was like, I FaceTime my wife, and I go, "Yo, what the fuck is this?" And she was like, "Oh, you tore something bad."
Yeah.
So
how long did that take to heal?
It was like 6 to 8 weeks. I took about 65 days off. So what's that?
Yeah, that's 2 months.
Yeah, 2 months.
Yeah. And what kind of treatment would you do for a torn groin like that?
So it was the muscle was the adductor longus, and it's the inside groin muscle right there that connects to the inside of the knee and inside like right where all the attachment sites come together. And all I did was therapy. All I did was some physical therapy, some stretching, some mobility drills. My orthopedic surgeon was like, you don't need surgery. You could have surgery, but that's going to heal itself with the body that you have and the way that you heal. He's like, I'm confident that we don't need surgery on that.
Did Heather Linden help you out with that injury?
No, this was before.
Yeah, before the UFC.
Before
so now
I
you're like,
feel all fucking badass when I walk in there, and I'm just like, yes, this hurts, this hurts, this hurts. Fix that.
Is that one of the upsides about being in the UFC? Is that you can go to that Performance Institute every day for 10 hours a day, eat for free, get everything you want. Is that badass?
The thing, it truly makes me. We've always talked about how the UFC is the NFL of fighting, right?
Yeah.
It's the MLB of fighting, and like only as of this year now am I really seeing that we're making those leaps and bounds and covering ground into that direction where, yes, you can walk into the UFC PI, you order your meals, and you get your therapy, and by the time you're done with your therapy, your meals are ready and you're out.
Yeah.
You know, and the one, this might be very, very simple, but it was so amazing to me that it just blew me away. Thorne Sports Supplements is the one that they recommend there at the UFC PI. It's a clean supplement. And one of the things that they did was they gave me my whole supplement line. Then they gave me this chart, and it was like, you need to take these 2 at breakfast, these 2 at breakfast, this 1 at breakfast. Okay, skip forward to lunch. Let's take this one at lunch, this one, here, and then they timed everything out for me. Listen. I've told my coaches, I've told my wife, I am but an arrow waiting to be picked up and flung at a motherfucker's direction. And if you can walk me through what time I need to take my pills, that's the best thing that I do. And it was just that level of put togetherness and structure that it has just blown me away.
Heather Linden said to me that the process of what they do is they all sit in a room together, and they're like, for instance, okay, Anthony Birchak, this level's down, he needs to work on this part, and they map everything out like they're mad scientists.
Yes.
For each individual, however many people are on the UFC roster now, I'm not sure how many people.
Like 500, 600?
Something like that.
I think they're over roster right now. So typically it's 500.
Yeah. But I mean, and you know what else I was really shocked about? That they actually have mental health doctors at the UFC Performance Institute. People that talk to you psychology for psychology. Okay, so let's talk about that for a second. Obviously, combat sports is probably psychologically one of the most difficult sports that you have to be in. Although it is it's not just a solo sport; it's a team sport because you got your team.
Right.
But the fact that someone else is going to hop into an octagon and try and hurt you, it's got to really mess with your head, like an advanced feeling of when you had to fight after school, right? Can that be detrimental to your mental health, or do you use it as strength?
It never really hit me that you could get hurt doing this. For a long time, I've been a wrestler, right? I wrestled since I was 4 years old. I'm going to be 35 in May, so 31 years of being a competitive athlete, right? And I just saw it as a competition. If I was a sprinter, we'd foot race. If I was a car driver, we'd car race. But this is what the fuck I do,
right?
And it's always been that way. Let's go to a little story. When I was fighting for the MFC in Canada, my mom flew out to Canada with me for the week, and this was for my world title fight. She calls me on the phone. She's like, "Son, where you at?" I was like, "Well, I'm on the other end of the mall." She's like, "Come to Dillard's. Like, come meet this lady. She wants to meet you. She's at the perfume counter." I said, "All right, I'll be there in a minute."
Was she hot?
I don't remember. I remember how bad she pissed me the fuck off is what I was leading up to. So I get there and I like shake her hand, very nice, hi, and she goes, "You're not worried that you could get like a stroke if you get hit or something like that?" And that's the first fucking question she asked me. And I look at my mom and I go, "Why did you bring me over here for this shit?"
So she knew you were in the UFC?
She knew I was in the Maximum Fighting Championship at that time. She knew I was a professional fighter. My mom had laid the groundwork. But her first question to me was like, "You're not worried about getting a stroke? You're not worried about, dying?" And I go, it never once crossed my fucking mind that could happen.
Yeah, because you have a warrior spirit. People that don't fight in the UFC or do combat sports don't. So they can't comprehend that running out there and getting kicked or punched in the face doesn't bother you one bit, where any other person would be like this and not comprehend that that's something that you have no fear of, right?
Yeah, and I have 4 kids. I have 2 stepdaughters. I have my son, Van, who'll be 13 next week on March 12th. Happy birthday, Van.
Happy birthday, Van.
And then my son, Jet, who's 7. And when I had Van, I was kind of still a little bit reckless. I was in the bar life still, bartending and then working at a sports store in the mornings and then roofing for my uncle on the weekends. So I was kind of burning the candle at both ends and in the middle.
You worked at a sports store?
Yeah.
Fuck, I did that too, bro.
Yeah, man. It was sports store from 7 to 3 or 8 to 4. I would go train from 5 to 7, and then I'd go to the bar from 8 to 4 in the morning, and then repeat.
Would you drink when you were at the bar?
Sometimes, yeah. After, for sure. Yeah. I worked for this Korean dude, and we would go through a bottle.
Oh yeah, they like their alcohol.
We'd go through a bottle of Johnny Black almost every night.
Really?
Yeah, it was It was horrible. It was horrible what I was doing. To
Johnny
myself.
Black's horrible, or what you were doing is horrible?
What I was doing is horrible. Johnny Black's delicious. And that's how I operated for very many years. And somehow I look back and I go, wow, I was successful doing that. Like I was still winning in the cage, still doing
Were
that.
you making money?
Not really.
So you're just surviving.
Yeah, I was just paycheck to paycheck having 3 jobs and still not making money. You know what I mean? So with my oldest son, I never really was humanized yet. I was still a fucking, just this hellcat running through the town. Until my last son, Jet, is when I really started thinking about brain health and body health and longevity of this sport.
And how old did you say? You're 35, right?
35, yeah.
That's when that shit. That's when you start thinking about that shit, right?
And like, Connor, he kind of changed after he watched that poor kid in Ireland get killed in MMA. It was one of the first MMA deaths. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then there was like another one shortly after that. And people will send me links, and I go, why the fuck do you think it's okay to send me this shit? Like, to me, it's out of sight, out of mind. I don't want to think about it. I don't want to read about it. Don't send me any articles.
Yeah, I think that's just because people don't understand. It's like,
but there's got to be some tact, right? There's got to be like,
bro, with MMA fans or MMA supporters,
zero tact,
fucking nothing. And listen, and I bring this up on the podcast quite a bit because I just see how these MMA fans, so-called fans, carry on. They all of a sudden they're experts on something that they've never ever done. They can follow someone that's been a winner. They have one loss and then they hate them.
Yeah.
They leave shit talk comments and they talk shit to these athletes that they don't understand the process of UFC PI, dieting, cutting weight, the mental fuck.
But it's not even that. Like my biggest thing right now, right, is like I just tweeted it, or I don't know if I tweeted it or I put it on Facebook. This is the first time in the 4 years of my daughter's high school wrestling career that I will not see her step on a mat. This is her senior year. I may never watch my daughter step on a wrestling mat again as a competitor. I won't be. This is the first time in 4 years she'll be at the state tournament without me.
Wow, is that because of Dad's influence?
I mean, Is
she a wrestler because of you?
Yes, because her real dad is not. He had zero sports.
Yeah, well,
when I got a hold of her, she was 7, and I was training her to shoot her little shot, and like all of a sudden it became something that she liked.
Yeah.
And then when she got to high school, I felt like my daughters both did it because they had to, or they were trying to make me happy. You know what I mean? But along the way, they did fall in love with it.
Do they call you Dad?
Yes.
And do you consider them as your daughters?
Those are my daughters.
Right.
Yes,
it's funny that you say that you took them on there when they were 7 because my stepfather took me on when I was 7.
Yeah.
But I hated him. I hated him
His thing is different for guys, man.
You think it is?
I think for sure. I think it's a different thing. And this came out of, you mentioned the dad thing. It came out of necessity, right? Because I wanted them to feel comfortable and I didn't want them. I remember, when kids they get talking, they get energetic and Mom, Mom, today at school, Dad. And they'd be like, oh, Anthony.
So they would accidentally say it?
Anthony. And like my girl at the time was like, are you okay? And I'm like, that doesn't bother me. Like, why would I get bothered by that?
Did you kind of feel flattered by it? Did it make you feel good?
No,
or did
I mean, yes and no. Like, I understood the time. Like, the kid was energetic. She was just ready to get these words out. And that was probably for the first time in her life, she had that family dynamic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
See, it's weird because I remember this conversation that my mum said that, look, you don't have to call him Gary anymore. You can call him Dad. And I was like, but how do I've never called, I felt uncomfortable calling him Dad my whole life, bro.
Yeah.
My whole life, I felt weird calling him Dad, even though my real dad was a fucking arsehole.
Yeah.
And I call him John.
Yeah.
My stepdad, Gary, who actually took care of us, I felt weird calling Dad.
But now you just put this safety protocol in place in your head, right? This is John, this is Gary.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, that's amazing. You have a lot of similarities to me, actually. One thing that I liked about you when I was doing a little bit of research on you is that you work with kids.
Right.
You have your own, do you still have your own gym?
Yeah, I still have my own gym. It's blowing up right now, man. And
that's so good, man.
I've been getting videos and pictures, and I'm just like, our whole team is fucking rolling. I got somebody competing at Submission Underground March 28th.
Nice.
I got my top brown belt fighting March 13th next weekend in Phoenix. One of my girl black belts just came off of they did like one of those triplet 3 versus 3s. and she heel hooked all 3 girls. So she went 3-0 with 3 heel hooks. Their team ended up winning the whole. It was a 3-women team, 16-team bracket. They won the whole thing, and they won $5,000. And so the team's on a roll. So now I feel a little bit of pressure. You know what I mean? Like, I better fucking go out there and
So
beat the shit out of Johnny Eduardo.
So when's that coming up?
March 20th.
March 20th. That just, and how long's it been since your last fight?
November.
November.
I fought my best friend Gustavo, who's my #1 training partner out here in Las Vegas, Gustavo Lopez.
Okay, so let's talk about that for a second. How does that feel?
It was dumb.
It
was dumb as shit, man. It was like round 157. You know what I mean?
Guys?
Yeah, one.
So it didn't feel real when you were in there?
I looked at him and I see a shit-eating grin on the other side of that cage, and I'm like, I better get fucking serious real quick.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and then like after that, like the weight cut was so terrible for me. I've never not made weight. So I had to make weight.
What do you walk around at?
60. When I got the call for Goose, I was 63.
Yeah.
I usually walk around 68, 65. Compete at 145 for jiu-jitsu. 135 if it's 10 to 12 hour weigh-ins.
Yeah. Do you think that you go to 145 in the UFC?
I see guys like, Julian Arosa, and I see dudes that are just monstrous, and I'm just like, that ain't for me. I fought Kawajiri at 145 in Rizin in Japan.
Yeah, that's right. How's that promotion to work for?
It was dope, man.
Yeah.
It was honestly like you see the way that shows operate. I've fought for damn near every single show. You know what I mean?
You had, man. What do you, Bellator, UFC, Rizin?
Combate Americas, LFA, and then local is World Fighting Federation there in Tucson.
Are they all that much different? Is the UFC the fucking elite of elite?
Right. And it's like the back. It's not so much on the front end.
Right. That's what I'm talking
about. We all
about.
look at the TV. We see the lights. We see the people.
Yep.
But the back end, how people operate their operations are crucial, and that's what I was about to get to. Is with Rizin, it's more about the fighter and presenting your tribute, your person.
Yes.
Right. In the UFC, it's more about the show.
Right.
Right. About those two people putting on a show. And it's like, and then in a couple of the under shows, it's just like you see all the headaches that are going on in the back, and you're like, I hope this doesn't seep into my fight somehow.
Yeah, that can be distracting, right?
Oh, God.
Yeah. And things happen that are distracting. Like Dominic Cruz said he doesn't want that certain referee. Apparently the referee had to go at him backstage prior to the fight, and he smelled alcohol in his breath or something like that.
That's what he said.
That's what he said.
Alcohol and cigarettes, yeah.
Alcohol and cigarettes, yeah. Probably not a good thing to be doing before you ref a fight, right?
If they have us under all these stringent testing of USADA and shit like that, like I believe that the judges should be under that same stringent testing. I believe the referees should be under that same stringent testing.
So here's a stupid fucking question. Are you allowed to have a shot backstage before you go on for your fight?
No.
Would you have, is alcohol?
So in every athletic commission, the one thing that they stress at every single rules meeting is after your fight, there's 0 alcohol in the back. That whether I've been in local shows or global shows, there's 0 alcohol back in the back.
Why? Why is that? Just because the atmosphere of...
I don't know. I mean, it's got to be something with just keeping the energy, right? Like, what if I'm pissed drunk and I go back there and my buddy's still the main event and I'm like in there having a good time?
Do you think the commentators have a few drinks? Just think Joe Rogan and John Anik and...
You can see them just...
And the boys? Yeah. Have a few edibles before they fucking...
I have no idea. I'm sure they get fucking crazy.
Yeah. They're good guys. All right, so the pandemic, how much has that affected your life? Because it affected mine in an amazing way.
Let me process that real quick, because there's a lot of things that are going to come out of my mouth that are going to make me sound like a fucking arrogant prick.
No, that's okay. That's okay. You're a conservative, right?
So when this all happened, right, and I saw kind of the writing on the wall, and like, I don't want to get too political, but every big election, there's always some sort of virus, the H1N1, and there's always something to polarize the groups, right? So like, I didn't want to buy into that. I didn't want to play into that. Let's rewind on how it didn't affect me, right? It's like I didn't shut my business down.
Right. Okay, that's the main thing.
I didn't shut my business down.
Did you get COVID?
Yes, I did.
Yep.
But if we want to do, this weird little contact tracing, I think out of the 200 members that I have at my gym, we had less than 10, And the people that did get it were police officers, frontline healthcare workers, and airport people.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and then me.
Yeah.
But I was traveling that whole time.
Right. Were you sick from it, or was it just easy?
It hit me 2 days, dude. It hit me for 2 days.
Yeah.
It felt like a fever was going to come. Never came. I had body aches. And I remember them saying, like, don't take ibuprofen. Don't do it. It's bad for you. Yeah, they were saying, don't take ibuprofen.
Why?
I don't remember. The liver or something like that? And I go, okay, but that's like acetaminophen fucks your liver up. You know what I mean? Like,
well, the acetaminophen in it. That's why you take like a...
An NSAID.
Yeah.
Right? So I took 1,600 milligrams of ibuprofen, which was 2 of the 800 things that I've had for like the groin injury. And I just said, you know what? Like, I'm just going to, fuck this. Like, the fever's like, feels like it's coming. The body aches is here. Popped them. Next day in the morning, I felt kind of shitty. By lunch, I was great. But my smell and taste was gone.
Right.
2 days, came back. But I was doing stuff like eating salt and vinegar chips.
And tasting nothing?
Fish and chips with balsamic on it.
Nothing?
And I was shocking my system. The way that I was telling everybody, it's like when you used to watch porn on your mom's thing late at night. And you could kind of make a little bit of a picture out, but it's not there. That's how it was for my taste. It was like, I know what that tastes like, but it's not there.
You're watching porn on your what?
It was like a Manuel. It was like
oh yeah,
like a dish. Remember, like back in the day, there was like a Manuel, like these fucked up weird channels that you'd scroll through in the 300s, and you're like, I know I'm not supposed to be this fucking,
but it's making it's making it feel good.
Yeah, you're like, I know.
That's like, well, it's funny. Did you see that guy that was on YouTube that had COVID and he was eating and drinking the most disgusting shit to prove that his like he was drinking bong water and he was stuff like that. It was hilarious.
My wife got it, and that's the only thing that she barely got back. And she was over it after about her 14 days, 20 days, whatever we did with her. And then she's just like, hey, I just still can't smell or taste anything. So I was just in the car farting it up, and I'd be like looking at her just like, is this bitch gonna smell this right now or not?
That's the good thing about having bulldogs. I got bulldogs and they fart real bad. Yeah. You got animals?
Yeah, I got a bunch. We just got a hairless cat, a little naked cat.
Oh yeah.
Her name's Bastet.
Nice.
I got a blue American bully named Thor. We got a little crested gecko.
Nice.
And then we have a whole mess. I grew up on a ranch down south of Tucson, so we had peacocks, we had roosters, bunny rabbits, horses, cows.
Yep. That's my dream.
Yeah.
Yep. Is it hotter in Tucson than it is here in Vegas in the summer?
For sure.
Really?
100%.
Do you spend a lot of summers here in Vegas, and how long are you away from home? Like, how long have you been here for now?
I've been here for 3 weeks now, so I would have been here for a whole month. I got here within.
Is your wife here with you?
No. She's in Tucson. She has to run the gym, and she's running a restaurant right now too.
Right.
So she's doing all the duties. Super mommy, picking kids up from school, taking kids to practices.
Are you going to be here until your fight?
Yes.
When do you start your weight cut and your dieting?
My weight cut will start the week of. My dieting's already here.
You already started dieting. That's why you won't.
Yeah, I do.
Drink any beer with me today?
No, that's
from... You gave up beer for Lent. That's right. For Jesus. You gave up beer for Jesus, and I respect and appreciate that. I went to a Catholic boys' school as well. That's something else that we have in common.
Yeah, I do 2 religious things. I'm not super religious anymore as I was. More spiritual now than anything, but I do 2 things that are very religious. And before every major event that I participate in, right, whether it's a jiu-jitsu major event or not just like these little weekend fuck around tournaments, but like something on Fight Pass or something on Flow Grappling, we do what I call a manda, like a favor walk, right? A walk of faith. So I walk 20 miles.
What language is that you just said?
Spanish.
Are you, what's your heritage?
Yeah, Mexican, Italian, Czech.
You look Italian.
Yeah, that's what I get a lot. I get a lot of Italian. Before my fight, I'll walk 20 miles to the church. I light my 3 candles. I say my prayers, and I go into battle.
20 miles.
20 miles. Yep. Takes me about 3.5 to 4 hours when I'm
there and
in
back.
Shape. No, just there. And then my mom picks me up. She takes me to breakfast.
And what do you think about on that 3-hour walk?
All kinds of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, all kinds of shit.
Do you smoke weed?
Yes, I do. Not while I'm walking, but I do when I'm at home. When I'm at home, I do. I'm a really bad stoner. I'm like the worst 10th planet black belt because I'm supposed to be some super stoner.
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm fucking horrible at it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I got to get high.
At being stoned?
Yeah.
You're horrible at being stoned.
I'm horrible at being stoned.
Oh, fuck. I'll teach you, brother.
The one time, like the times that I can is when I'll smoke and I'll go walk the strip.
Yeah.
Then like I'm enough out of my head to enjoy shit.
Yeah, yeah,
But if
yeah.
I'm sitting at home and like if I'm not going to bed or if I've had a little too much caffeine and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna smoke this spliff and go right to bed.
Yeah.
And then a couple minutes later, I'm like, oh, I'm not going to bed.
Yeah, you're one of those.
Now I'm panicking.
Yeah, you're one of those guys that you're like a mate of mine. He smokes weed and then he stays up and starts thinking. Fucking,
too much.
Yeah.
Too much think.
Yeah, too
much think.
Do you see any shows? Well, fuck, no shows here at the moment, eh? No shows in Vegas. Can't see anything. Do you see shows in Vegas, Cirque du Soleil and that kind of stuff? You ever seen a show?
I've never gone to Cirque du Soleil, and that's been like one of the biggest things
Oh,
I want to
fuck,
take my
you got
wife
it.
to, man. I want to take her to what is it, Zumanity?
Yep.
That's the one.
They just folded.
Yeah, I know. So that's gone.
That's gone.
What's
what
the
about
other
what
one?
you know? You could take it to
Yeah.
Thunder from Down Under.
She went to that already. We used to have a friend that would dance there. His Mikey Perez used to be a MMA fighter.
That's Chippendales.
Is it?
Yeah.
Thunder from Down Under is all Australians, then, huh?
Yes, sir.
It's all Aussie boys.
Yeah.
Fuck no, I'm not taking her there. You know, fucking Craig Jones is.
Craig Jones.
Craig Jones. He's the Aussie that's tearing up the no-gi jiu-jitsu world right now.
Oh no, I don't.
Yeah, we had him.
Is he from the Gold Coast?
I don't know.
Right.
It's a good question. I really don't know. He came to my gym for a seminar, and I was just like, like if he wanted to take my woman, he could, and I couldn't fucking do a thing about it. Couldn't do a fucking thing about it.
I was the MC and compere for Thunder from Down Under for 23 years.
Really?
Yeah, man.
Oh, that's tight.
I could tell you some real
I don't-
fucking awesome stories, bro, about bachelorettes
I
and
don't
things.
doubt you, man.
Yeah, so yeah, man, that Thunder from Down Under, I finished March 10th last year. So nearly a year I've been out of it.
Really?
Yeah.
And then you started this project
And then I
up, or
started this
you had
project.
this going at the same time?
Nah, man. Once the lockdown hit and all the shows finished,
You had to seclude yourself.
I had to think of what am I going to do.
Yeah.
And I knew a few fighters and I knew a few entertainers.
That's actually something I want to talk about. Is a lot of people were okay with conceding to this thing, rather than evolving themselves and pivoting. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I think
How fucking weird was it that people were like, "Oh, this is an opportunity to give up. I'm gonna take it."
Yep. Exactly.
Oh, this is an opportunity to stop my whole life. I'm gonna take it.
Nah.
And then there's other people like you.
Yep.
I gotta figure out something to fucking do.
Yep. That's it, man. That's it.
What?
And then I thought to myself, podcasts, no one can go anywhere. Let's talk to people from around the world. And then it started at my house, in my office upstairs, and then 6 months ago we started in here. So
Beautiful, man. That's
yeah,
great.
it's going good. It's you know what? I'm a huge MMA fan. I fucking love mixed martial arts. I'm not an expert on it. I have done some mixed martial arts training. Do you think that for someone to be like me and talking to guys like you that I should have had some kind of training or
No, because I'm gonna say it's cute, right? Because
Right.
you're doing like this thing where you're so objective, you're so removed from it that you don't have any biases or bad
No.
habits or things that you like to see. You're just a very innocent view on things.
Right. But you
Right?
can't when you're in the media, which is what I fucking hate about media, is that you have to be open, you have to be even, you have to be
I think Cub Swanson tweeted something not too long ago about saying, I think if you're going to be an MMA journalist, you should at least have some sort of training, right?
right.
I think it'll help you because if we sat here and we started dissecting a fight on the TV, you'd be able to give me what you think would be the right move, and I'd be like, no, you don't want to do that.
Right.
Because you'll circle right into a
Yeah.
left hook or a left kick. You know
This
what I mean?
is a question that I thought about that I wanted to ask you. Is it not that I'm no expert, as I said, but and I have done some boxing. I've done a little bit of kickboxing. I did Shotokan karate when I was young, but I just like to talk about it,
Yeah.
and it fascinates me. And I know people like to hear about it.
Yeah, and then, the way that the sport has evolved over the last, what is it, 2 decades now?
Yep. Yep.
Holy shit.
23 years or something now. I think 22 years.
Yeah. The way that it's evolved, I was just telling somebody the other day, it used to be, the best bar fighter from East Vegas versus the karate guy from West Vegas. And they would go at it. And then it'd be like, then it expanded. And it was the bar fighter from Boston versus the, wrestler from Iowa.
Right.
And now it's legitimately people and kids that have, like Rory McDonald's like one of the first guys that was true just training MMA, didn't have a wrestling background, didn't have a jiu-jitsu background, didn't have a Thai background, but is just an MMA fighter. You know what I mean? Now more and more kids are just MMA fighters. And
remember that Robbie Lawler fight with fucking...
How do you forget it? How do you forget it?
That fucking lip.
There's a painting that I love, and I think the ring girl did it. What's her name?
Brittany Palmer.
I think she did it. And I absolutely love that painting, and it's just his
fucking lips split open.
Oh fuck!
Yeah.
But she did it with such brilliant coloring that it was.
No,
like,
she's amazing. She's a great artist.
I love her art.
Yeah. What's your worst injury at the moment?
Worst injury at the moment.
Your groin still hurt a little bit?
Never. I cut my fucking fingernails so short.
Ooh.
I can't grab anything.
So you can't play the...
And I went to sushi the other day, and I squeezed a lemon in my soy sauce.
Ooh.
And I looked for somebody that I could take this out on. And I was like, I need to fuck somebody up for the thing that I just did. But yeah, my fingernails, I cut my goddamn fingernails too short.
Oh man, that's so funny. Someone from the UFC.
I got like a toe split that's been bothering me too. It's all just cuticle shit.
Yeah. Well, the only reason I'm saying that is because here at the podcast, I like to hook all my guests up with a few gifts. So the first gift that I want to give you, man,
I'm always sore. I can always use that.
Bro, this is a cryotherapy spray which has got CBD and cannabinoids in it.
Okay.
So it's a cryotherapy spray. So it's freezing fucking cold when you put it on. But let me tell you, I've tried Icy Hot, Bengay, Tiger Barn. I've tried hemp products, CBD products.
Thank you so much, man.
That, bro, I broke my neck 2 years ago, right? I'm 2 years post-surgery from a broken neck, got plates and shit.
Yeah.
This has helped me more than anything I've ever tried. It's a brand new company called Tidl Sport. And, bro, I really want you to try it because I'm so passionate about this product because it worked for me.
Yeah, I'm going to... I always have sore necks. You know, I'm a wrestler, and I'm always tucked up and congested in my neck area. So that'll be perfect to loosen that up, man.
Really
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. So let's flip the switch a little bit. One thing I was watching you on a podcast. I was watching it last night actually, and you said that you thought about maybe moving up to, or you like the Washington area.
I was Portland, Oregon.
Oregon.
Yeah.
And then what did you mention about that?
Multnomah Falls, right? And I go, when I was there when we were wrestling in college, and I went, you know, Bigfoot totally fucking exists by looking at this area. It has to. It's so dense. And that's the whole thing I remember about that. But the waterfall was so beautiful. The forest is so green and lush. And but Bigfoot was what stood out to me. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes. Fuck, how did you know?
Oh, dude. Because I'm, again, 10th Planet Black Belt. I'm very good in conspiracy theories and cryptozoology.
Oh, I mean, I wouldn't say that Bigfoot's a conspiracy theory. He is part of the cryptozoology family. Yeah, man. I'm kind of fascinated by anything to do with, like, as you can see by this studio, I'm a bit of a nerd.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, if you see anytime I'm doing some sort of like interview of stuff, I have this giant armoire filled with all those vinyl pops by Funko.
Oh, you're into the Funko Pops?
Yeah, I'm a huge Funko Pop guy, man.
Yeah.
Huge.
I have a bit of a collection of Funko Pops myself.
Yeah, but so with Bigfoot, there's this it's an uncanonized story of it's Han Solo and Chewbacca they're escaping the Empire, right? And they get stuck in hyperdrive and they can't come out of it. And when they do, they end up in our solar system and they're kind of bouncing around. The ship splits, the Millennium Falcon splits in two. One part lands in Indiana, and the other part lands like in northern America, right? And so this whole thing is that is Han Solo lands in this place, and he's much like he did in the introduction to Han Solo, he saw Indiana, right? Indiana Jones. So now it's Indiana Jones searching for Bigfoot, which is just Han Solo looking for his buddy Chewbacca. And I was like, that's a genius ass thing. And so it just got me thinking about that. Like, I honestly think if it would have been anything, it's not a missing link. It would be, you know, an extraterrestrial using some sort of
portal or
protective.
Yep. And well, I mean, look, and I don't know if you've seen all the recent UFO sightings, photographs and videos that have increased over the last few months.
Well, how crazy is it that during the stimulus package plan, it was 180 days for full UFO disclosure. And I had written somewhere like, what if, much like when the Spanish came to the Americas and infected the natives with viruses, right? What if the vaccine, this virus, is all just a micro dose of maybe something that these beings have on them, and getting closer to the disclosure, right? Full disclosure, we're going to be daily interactions with them. But to have those daily interactions and be living in a symbiotic relationship together, we need to have whatever viruses that they're bringing here, and we need to have that because one, that the fact that it's an mRNA virus is vaccine is different, right? It's one of the most different vaccines that we've ever had,
right? Compared to any other flu vaccines.
So, and then like there's a podcast where you see like Elon Musk, like if someone does mRNA, right, they could turn you into a butterfly. The way if they have the right sequencing, they could say. So I was like, man, what if like with the 180-day disclosure that they have coming, and them trying to force and push this vaccine on us, and this virus happening, and went global. What if it's something just an introduction to whatever these beings have with them?
Yeah. So we can come together in harmony, and there be no infection or that.
Right. Neither one of us are wiping each other out.
Right. Like War of the Worlds, like at the end of War of the Worlds. Remember that?
And that's exactly what I said. That's the example that I used. Yeah. They came here for water. Right. And we've constantly evolved with these microorganisms that are in this water, and we're fine. We can drink it. If we go to Mexico, you get the shits, but you'll be all right.
Yep.
You know, you get a couple Tums in you.
Yep. Thailand's the same.
Same. But what if, you know, this is that thing that they've had for, you know, their evolution that we would get wiped out with. And maybe that's why we're having to have this whole thing happen.
And it's so funny because it's come out in the media so much more about these sightings, and even you know, people from the Air Force, like captains and pilots, have come out and said, "Listen, we saw this Tic Tac thing. There's no way that
and naval pilots
that
are
saying
always
going
seeing
under the water,
the Tic Tac, the cigar. They're saying that there's an underwater base outside of Malibu, right off of the coast. If you look, I don't know if you remember at the very beginning of the pandemic, there was China Lake, California. There was like earthquake after earthquake after earthquake. I think they did like 16, 17 earthquakes over like a week-long period, right? Mm-hmm. But one of them, there was the epicenter of it was directly under this military base in California called China Lake, right? But it's exactly 1 mile under that base, right? And then I have like this other conspiracy theory map that shows all the subterranean tunnels that they have, and they use like a vacuum mag lift subway system. But what they were saying is, why would a naval base be so far inland in a place called China Lake where there's no lake, but that tunnel system that leads out ends up like right in line with Malibu?
And it seems more probable that if there is alien species that are here with us now, obviously they're going to be under the water because it's obviously closer, but it's the same atmosphere as space.
Right.
And a lot of these ships have been seen fucking coming out of the sky and going... And have you seen that one where the one?
I see the one that just travels between it, like there's zero difference in density from the air to the water, and he's just bouncing through, up and over. That one was like off the coast of Miami.
Why isn't this being talked about more,
dude? I don't know. I could talk about this for hours. You clear a schedule because we'll sit here and fucking do this.
Hey, this is the last thing we have to. This is it. We're here today. We don't have to go anywhere. But why isn't it being talked about more? Why do you think that people, the world, doesn't want to know about it, doesn't believe it?
The same reason that I gave up beer for Lent, you know, the power of religion and those religious constructs. If all of a sudden we found out that we aren't the only ones in you know, we weren't created in his image or whatever it may be, the world would melt, dude. So because then everybody that would be, you know, using explosive vests to kill soldiers, and then soldiers using, you know, drones to kill these people in the Middle East. It's like all this was for nothing. All this was for some religious clause that doesn't even exist, and it was just all in vain.
So, and do you think that what would be the major problem is that people would think, fuck, maybe we did come from these aliens. Maybe there isn't.
It would just be too much mental stress on the human race, man. It would be, and there's I think that's why, like, over the years they've just been pumping this shit to us, because even now, like after COVID and after 2020, we were waiting in January, like, yeah, aliens, fucking bring them. Yeah,
yeah,
sure.
I want to see it.
Yeah.
Bring
Yeah,
it.
I think everyone would be like, please.
Yeah.
But I just think it's something that we have so many little boxes that we put ourselves in, right? And we like classify ourselves and things that we lock onto childhoods. You went to a Catholic school, boy. I've grown up as a Catholic, but like I said, over the years now and seeing the flaw of man becoming more spiritual than I am, tied to the religion. I understand the possibility that maybe these beings that were talked about, painted about, written about, they were all just these super people,
Right.
This race of super people that have.
And did they start us? Did they start us? Did they go, let's see how this evolves over?
Well, we always talk they talk about how the ancestors knew a bunch of things that we forgot, and obviously there was maybe there was a group of people that were so intelligent they were like, let's leave these fucking idiots behind. We need to go that way.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean? And these little dweebs will stay here.
Yeah. So obviously you believe in life after death and energy never dies and everything moves on.
Yeah, energy can't be destroyed, right? It just moves laterally.
Right. So you believe in ghosts and spirits and
that's
EVPs
that's a weird one. I just think that people can be tied to certain things for so much. And they've put so much energy into it. There's actually this really, really cool video that I like of an old. It was a monastery in England, and it ended up turning into just this big house, right? But in the front, there's this beautiful garden, and you'll see a pathway that leads to the flowers here, the what do you call it? Herbs, right? And then like another row of flowers. And
herbs, is that what you kids are calling them these days?
Herbs. But you see this light, and there's no like body, but you see this light, and it's moving as if it would
has purpose.
Well, it looks like the same path that somebody would have walked every morning to water their garden.
Something residual.
Something that is just residually tied, and like that woman. I'm assuming it's a woman that would have just put so much energy into her flowers, right? That every day she did that.
Yeah.
And then that's still there. That's tied to that.
Would you like to see something like that? Like
I've seen some crazy shit.
You've seen have you seen a spirit before?
I grew up on a ranch down south of Tucson. My grandfather had hundreds of acres of cotton, and he had 500 head of cow, 300 head of hog, and that whole area is very, very active.
Right. Was there a lot of deaths in that area?
There was a lot of deaths in that area. There's a couple churches right there. Like the church that I walked to, San Javier, was built by Father Kino, and during that time he killed a lot of natives and buried them under the church. Right,
the priest did.
Yeah, so it's like either convert or die. Right. How religious of him.
Yeah, right. How religious of it, exactly.
How religious of that. So it was like that all that energy's trapped there, dude. And it's like, right. It's like as beautiful as these churches are, there is this like.
Yeah, I know. I feel you. I know what you're saying. Yep, I fucking feel you.
It's like an ominous thing.
Yep, I agree.
And it's just probably a bunch of pissed off natives that are just like, yeah, it's cool. We built this. Check it out.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
I died doing this shit.
Yeah, and then they don't know that maybe they don't know that they're dead, and they're like still wandering around, trapped here. This energy that would suck, right? Being a ghost and not being able to move on and being like, hey, hello, and no one's seeing you, and you just having to fucking
every day.
That's hell, right?
That would be hell.
That would be hell, right? Yeah.
One form of it.
Not being able to move. I don't think hell is like a burning pit with devils, with pitchforks. I think being trapped on Earth as a spirit,
eternity,
and no one being able to see you, but you being able to interact with it. Imagine like a spirit sitting here right now, going crazy that they can't have this conversation with us. Imagine how that's.
He's like, I have so much information.
yeah.
See
what I mean?
And it's wild. And I have my family has like that whole ranch is very. I'll have a story for you real quick. So on our ranch we have our main house, and then we had this. We just call it the old house. My grandfather who passed at the beginning of last year.
Rest his soul. This is the grandfather that taught you to punch in the clavicle.
Yes. As illegal Mexicans were crossing the border and coming through to Tucson, they would stop at my grandpa's ranch, and
Your grandfather was Mexican?
yes,
Okay.
and he would allow them to work there for a couple days in exchange for stay. So
Nice.
if he needed help watering or feeding the animals or tending to the crops and stuff like that, they could stay there, but it wasn't for free. You know what I mean? They would have to put in a little bit of labor, and then they could move on to Tucson. Well, they asked one night, like, well, where do we stay? He goes, oh, you guys stay in the old house. And so they stayed there at like 3 a.m. He answers the door with a shotgun, and they're telling him, like, hey, we'll sleep anywhere else but that place. And I get they were saying that someone was coming underneath at the feet of the beds and grabbing their heels and pulling them.
Fantasma.
Yeah, and they were like, we appreciate you letting us stay here, but we gotta go.
Right. Yeah. It was funny that. Sorry, just getting back to your granddad. The clavicle. You were talking about the clavicle. Yeah. So it's funny that you said that he fought. I heard him that he beat up a cop once.
Yeah.
But the thing is that in Australia, the police are taught to, with their police batons, to hit the clavicle.
Yeah.
Because when you crack someone in the clavicle, their arms can't move.
Uh-huh.
So that's and you use that when you fight, right?
Yeah. I mean,
if you can't hit the chin, you hit the clavicle.
Yeah, because
right?
it's a lot. I mean, the head moves on a swivel, you know what I mean? But the shoulders pretty much stay in the same area.
Right.
So if I need to get into like a slugfest, and I'll just start throwing hooks, looking to hit the clavicle, looking to hit the shoulders, the center of the chest.
Yeah.
There's been times when we've just not intentionally, but we've been getting into these firefights, and I'm getting hit in my chest, and the next day I'm just like, fuck,
fucking
man.
Hurts, right?
Oh my God, can't lift my arms, can't lift my hands, and it's
That's
just
okay. Sorry, hang on.
You're
Sorry.
good.
Ian, you can put the camera on me. Yeah, I'll use the spoon because this is how the
Show me. Brilliant. I use my teeth. I use the tooth. I gotta do
Thanks,
it.
Ian.
Way. I use that, or I'll table pop it.
Oh yeah, there's a few things in here from the table, but you gave up beer for Lent.
I did, and you know what's shitty is like, I gave up beer for Lent, and everyone's like, "Oh, dude, we're driving up to Vegas. Let's get fucked up right after your fight." And I'm like, "Yes, that sounds amazing."
Yeah,
but I gotta wait till Easter.
Yeah. Oh, you're gonna wait till Easter?
Yeah, I gotta wait till Easter.
So between now and how long's it gonna be before your next drink?
When's Easter? The 30th?
Yeah.
Let's see.
What do you drink? That's a good question.
I drink dark beer. I like Guinnesses. I like porters. I like stouts. I do like a little something.
Little something.
Yeah,
Take
little
about four or five little somethings. Will give you a little something.
Little something.
Yeah. What about whiskey? Are you a whiskey drinker?
I am. I love Japanese whiskey.
Really? I've never tried that.
I've never had Proper 12.
What? Hang on.
Yeah, I've never had Proper 12.
Really?
And so I'm gonna you gotta have to have me back on, so that I can get proper fucked up with you.
Yep.
And I'll be able to imbibe in the.
Well, if you haven't tried Proper 12 Irish Whiskey, it is the finest, the tastiest man-made whiskey on the planet. This stuff ages in a barrel for about 4 years. And as I mentioned earlier on, we like to gift our guests that come on the What Happens Here podcast.
My boy.
Now, determining on if the guest is good or if the guest sucks determines on whether they get the bottle of Proper or what we like to call the Big Boss. But because it's been such a fucking epic chat today, this is what I like to call the passing of the Proper. Proper 12 is one of our affiliates here at the podcast.
Wonderful.
Connor sends me over a couple of cases and I get to give them to my guests. So for you, my friend, it's your first. I'm breaking your virginity right now.
Oh, dude.
I'm breaking your virginity for a brand new shiny. We call this the Big Boss, the 1.75 litre. This one's for you, my friend.
Thank you, sir. Wow, look at that.
Isn't it impressive?
That's going to last all night.
Well,
man,
do me a favor. When you first try it, video it and then send me a video. And let me know. You'll fucking love that,
listen,
bro.
my boys love it. All the boys at the gym love it.
Yeah.
And I've just never had an opportunity to it. Like, a couple of the bars that I still frequent, they're like, you have no idea how much people choose it over any of the American whiskeys.
Well, the good thing about Proper 12...
I'll smell it. Can I smell it?
Absolutely. Hang on, let me... now that we're talking about it, I've got to have a little... Yeah. Smell that Proper 12. Make you want to taste it, mate. It's got a hint of...
Oh, it smells like something I like.
Yeah, it's got a hint of honey, a smoky, woody...
Yes.
And you can drink it neat like this. So thank you very much to everybody over at Proper 12. Enjoy that one, my
Oh,
brother.
of course. Thank you.
Yeah.
Look at that. Gee. What? Oh,
The big 1.75, the big boss.
this is bigger than my head.
Yeah. So what's what you know what? I had a bunch of shit written down and I didn't even bother fucking.
Get it. Let's
no,
get
I
it
didn't
out.
even
I ain't got
ask
nowhere
because
to go.
we didn't. I didn't need to because the conversation was just flowing here. So let's just talk about the card this weekend. We have to talk about the card this weekend because this is just such a fucking amazing sport, and it gets me. You know what? I got to be honest with you guys. I don't really watch any other sports. I really don't. Maybe I watch a Super Bowl every now and then. Maybe I watch the cricket every now and then, but I really, really don't. Do you watch any other sports?
It was funny. This just happened at the UFC PI. There's a couple of us in there for training.
Can you move in on that mic a bit, man?
Yeah. Sorry.
Pull it towards you.
We were just at the UFC PI for some therapy and training, and we heard a British guy saying he's the most deadly striker, and all of us literally turned to see who they were talking about, and they're talking about a striker from soccer, and I go, fuck that.
Yeah.
Why is this even on?
Yeah. Well, the English call it football. They call it soccer over here. But a striker is someone that kicks the ball into the goal. That's
and
right.
he's like, he's the most dangerous striker on the team. And we looked over and we're like, no.
You watch other sports?
I'll watch football, American football. And can't watch baseball.
No.
Every once in a while I'll tune in
Tennis?
for soccer. Fuck. Fuck out of here. I'll watch a couple games of soccer. I have a boy that's from Manchester.
Yeah, I don't mind soccer. I don't mind it.
It's a fast game. I'll watch girls softball. Not because they're girls, obviously beautiful, built, but it's just a faster game.
Yeah.
Right? It's a much faster
Quick
game.
moving. Yeah, like American football, it takes a long time.
And baseball, I just fucking
Each to their own. So this weekend, UFC 259. You know what I really love about UFC is when people take risks and either move up weight classes or move up 2 weight classes.
Yeah.
Israel Adesanya is moving up from middleweight to light heavyweight, facing obviously Jan Blachowicz. Do you have any?
Yeah, I have a big insight on him moving up. The thing that makes him very lethal at 185 is his speed, right? And he's going to be putting on a significant amount,
like another 20 pounds. Now, how much does that affect your speed when you're putting
100%?
How much though?
And then that psychologically fucks you, right? Because you're like throwing a jab that you think is coming out like a whip, and it's just a beat off. Everything's just a beat off, and you're like, what the fuck is going on?
And that's because of the extra 20
and
pounds.
Just that weight, man. You know, it would behoove him to stay low.
So would he have been training at that? Would he have moved up to that weight and did his?
Yeah, you would have. He's just and like here's the other thing, right? Is the weight cut. The weight cut is the process. It's part of the journey. It tells your mind and body like, hey, it's fucking wartime very soon, right?
Right.
If you don't have to go through that journey, are you even really ready?
Right.
Right?
Does it prep you like it normally?
Did you feel like you did the work?
Right.
Because when I cut weight and I fucking put in and I know that I ran my miles and that I hit my bag and then I jumped my rope and that I fucking starved myself and I took little meager portions, I knew I was part of that journey was complete. Right. If the time that I fought Kawajiri, I was in tremendous shape, right? But I was still able to eat ramen and eat this meat and eat this and eat that. And I didn't really have to worry about the weight cut over to Japan like I normally would have. So I felt almost unprepared.
Right.
Right?
Right. That makes sense.
There was a part of me that was incomplete, and it was the weight cut. And again, 20 pounds is a lot of weight. So if I took a tennis ball and I drilled you in the face with it, right? You go, fuck you. I take a 20-pound medicine ball and I drill you in the face with it. You can now grasp that.
Right. Yeah. That's a good analogy right there.
Fucking huge.
Yeah.
Right? 20 pounds to the face is different than a little zinger.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see.
That's a really interesting way of putting it. I'm glad you explained it to me like that because that actually opened up my eyes to see it a lot more.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Right? So is he going to have the same speed? Probably not. I think he'll be faster, right? But just like what happened when Conor moved up to 170 and he hit these people with that left hand that he's so proud of.
It didn't have that.
It didn't have the pop.
Right.
Israel got into a war with Kelvin. Not so much Bobby Knuckles, but with Kelvin, a lot got traded and his face got beat up.
Yeah. That's the first time he's ever had his face really beat up like that though, right?
in the
Which was
UFC. Have you seen some of his kickboxing
earlier
stuff?
fights?
Yeah. There's other very, very talented strikers as well. You know what I mean? But I'm very interested in to see his speed, his movement versus Jan.
Yeah.
And then how does he deal with getting hit with something
that big and powerful,
that
that
big
medicine
and
ball.
powerful? And this will just be a great insight into how he'll handle with John Jones, because John Jones is 205 fast and just a motherfucker.
And also, Jan knocked out Dominic Reyes, who pretty much arguably you could say that the fight that he had with John Jones was even, right?
You don't want my opinion.
Okay,
John Jones is literally operating at 75% when everybody else is doing their 110% best.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, it's just not enough, you know?
Yeah.
And, I mean, I like Dominic Reyes. He's resilient. He's continuously pushes the pace. He was looking to get into a fight, you know what I mean? And John's, I believe that, if I recalling that fight correctly, John did a lot of Mayweather boxing. Right? He was on the outside, staying out.
Yeah. It was a good fight.
Yeah, I just think it was just, and then the cliche saying comes in: if you want to beat the champ, you gotta, or if you want to be the champ, you gotta beat the champ.
That's right.
You gotta finish him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's 3 title fights this week. Who else we got? Amanda Nunes versus one of my countrymen.
I love Megan Anderson, man. I love her.
How tall is she in real life?
I think she's 6'2", right?
Yeah. Now, how much of a disadvantage is that going to be for Amanda Nunes, meaning that Megan's reach is going to be so much longer? Is it hard to fight a tall fighter like? Yeah.
The way that Nunes moves already kind of works.
Right. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
But I do like the rangier fighter.
Yeah.
Megan's got some really good teeps and push kicks. Nice jab. What I'm afraid of is if she does get on the inside of like one of these long punches, Cub Swanson, George Roop, if you go back to that fight, you'll see Cub Swanson came up on the inside with a nice right hand.
Yep.
And you know.
Is he one of your favorite fighters, Cub Swanson?
Cub Swanson is one of my favorite fighters.
I've heard you mention him a couple of times during the show.
Well, he's also one of my biggest mentors when I first came into the UFC.
That was going to be one of my next questions. Who's your biggest mentor?
One of my biggest mentors was Cub, out of nowhere. Like I met Cub a couple times, and I was like, dude, I would love to train with you. And he's like, yeah. And I go, I thought everyone goes, like, yeah, you know what I mean? He goes, I'm fighting Frankie Edgar. You're a wrestler, right? And I go, yeah. He goes, I'm going to bring you out to Jackson's. So he brought me out to Jackson's for that whole camp.
Really?
You know, and
fucking awesome. What a good guy.
We didn't go our way, but, you know, and then like guys like George Roop, Ed West, those all, I cut my teeth coming up to the Arizona scene. George Roop is an Arizona guy that, you know, I really looked up to a lot.
Yeah.
Even more so now because he's not like your typical fighter that just rested on the fight of laurels. He diversified himself and just exactly like you pivoted, he pivoted. And now he's one of the biggest medical marijuana heads in Arizona.
Wow.
So he started the Tucson Cannabis Campus, grown for medical marijuana stuff, and he's one of the heads there that writes all kinds of stuff.
So who's your favorite athlete in the Ultimate Fighting Championship? Who would be like? Who do you have to watch? Who do you love? You're like, oh my god, I just love watching this guy or girl. Do you have one?
I do have to watch John Jones.
Yeah,
I like watching him, the way that he approaches every single fight. You know, whether that's him and that intrinsic intuitive knowledge that he has, or if it's Greg Jackson, you know, that's really pulling all the strings on that and like game planning for these people so well. Also, I like that goofy guy Pajeda that's doing like backflips and
Michel Pereira.
Oh God, he's awesome.
Fuck, he's a good guy.
Yeah, he's
we
awesome.
had him in here. He was in here.
Yeah. I like him. Who else?
Johnny Walker. I love Johnny. Johnny Walker's great as well.
He's still. To me, there was a lot of fire about him, but
you think it was a hype train?
Yeah, a little bit of a hype train.
Why do hype trains get started? Like Hamzat Chimaev. What's going on with that hype? Like that was gonna. What's happening there? What's going on?
I don't even know.
Dana said he had COVID and he's still suffering from mental issues from the medication or something.
Everyone was like, he was spitting up blood. The COVID was so bad, and like just yesterday, I heard like, oh, he got his wisdom teeth taken.
Oh fuck.
I don't know. I saw him outside. Everyone's like, oh, he's done. He's retired. I go, I just saw him at Extreme. He was out front. You know what I mean?
How long ago was that?
Monday. He wasn't training, but
so he doesn't have COVID anymore.
That's the other thing is like if he's at fucking Extreme.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
what are you doing?
Right.
I think the reason that he wasn't supposed to be training was because of the medication that they had him.
Right.
on.
Okay. That's right.
The medication that he had him on would have been adverse side effects if he would have gotten his blood pressure
Yeah.
high or whatever it may be.
Right. Aljamain Sterling and how do you Peter?
Peter.
Yeah, but you got to miss the E, right? How do you say it?
Piotr Jan. Piotr Jan. Interesting fight, man. Jan's got dynamite in his hands, and Aljamain does not like to get into firefights.
Really?
Does not. And that's like when I called him out, I was like, motherfucker, I dare you to step in the pocket. But as much as beef as I had with Aljamain, it does not sit right with me letting Piotr Jan be the champ at 35s right now. I think Aljamain would be a much more better suited 135-pound champ.
Because
right
of
now.
why? What reason?
I just think he's more marketable. He carries himself,
He knows how to talk. He's got a bit of style.
Yeah, you know what I mean? He carries himself. I think that's why I fucking hate the prick. You know, because he's really saucy.
Yeah. What about Cody Garbrandt? How do you feel about him?
I mean, he just hasn't been around. Like the last one was the punch heard around the world, right?
Ooh.
You know, and then like Aljo, like he's a good talker. He has a good style, and I think I just think he's much more better suited to be a champion right now.
So how do you feel about TJ Dillashaw coming back in and doing his thing? Everyone that I talk about gets pretty pissed off when I mention that name.
Well, there's no reason to get pissed off, right? There's like so many people in the sport that have used that didn't get caught, that didn't get called out. You know what I mean? So like, I don't think anyone's got anything to fucking say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you've done anything that your grandma wouldn't have been proud of about, just shut the fuck up.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, that's a
just
good way.
Shut the fuck up.
That's a good way of putting it. And then we were talking before about I'm
excited to see him come back because has the game moved past him?
Has it? Because it constantly moves.
It's always. Look at Dominic was off for so long and the game moved past him.
Yeah.
You know, I think Dominic's going to do a lot better this weekend. I have relationships with both of those guys. You know what I mean? They're both Tucson-based guys, or Casey was a Tucson-based guy.
Yeah.
Dominic's, was based in North Tucson and then moved to San Diego to Alliance and stuff like that. I always love the movement that Dominic has, the way that he creates and draws
people in. Yeah, I loved it as well.
Yeah, it's that he draws people in. It's also he draws out the reactions that he's looking for. You know what I mean? And if he draws those correct reactions out of Casey, I think he can take Casey down.
Right.
But if also some of his rolls are dangerous, and that's exactly what happened with Henry Cejudo, is as he rolled while he was striking, he caught a knee. And if you look at Casey being southpaw, Dominic being orthodox, the way that Dominic hits those rolls, if Casey's throwing that left kick at that same time,
it's all a matter of timing, right, bro?
It's dangerous.
You look like you got a little bit of a shiner on the side there.
These fuckers, they're Velcro and like some of their rash guards, they're just old and ratty, and there's no more slick to them anymore. It's
Who's supplying you with your rashies?
Me. This isn't my rashie. This is my partner's rashies, or if they wear an old T-shirt to train in instead of something that's
You need to get a sponsor with it. You need to get a new
smooth.
Yeah. You need a new sponsor. What do you do for fun out here, man, when you're not fucking grinding away? Like, what's your fun thing to do? Eat?
I like go to the mall and buy shoes, man.
You're a shoe guy.
I'm a shoe guy. I'm a big sneakerhead.
Really?
I go to like Urban Necessities over at the fashion
show mall.
Fashion show.
Mm-hmm.
I'll hit up. There's another little like bodega in Vegas, in North, like right there around Fremont area, like between Fremont and the Strat that I go to.
You go to the Strat.
It's between the Strat and Fremont. The shoe store. I don't know where. I don't know what street it is, but I know how to get there.
I think it's Las Vegas Boulevard, isn't it?
Probably.
Yeah, it is.
It's where it kind of splits off.
Do you wear them, or do you keep the boxes
clean? I wear them,
clean?
dude. Yeah, I fucking wear them. I paid for them. I fucking wear them.
Yeah. Do you keep them clean, or do you keep the boxes?
I keep them clean. I will. Oh, people get so sad. I crease my shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's gonna get creased.
Are you a Nike, Adidas?
Yeah, I'm a style guy.
You're a style. Like, it doesn't matter if they're Vans, you'll buy them, and probably because your son's name is Van.
Yeah, for a long time.
That's all you wore.
For a long time, my best friend worked for Vans, and like,
no way.
Yeah, he was kind of street hood, right? So he'd be like, "Hey man, come by the store today. I got like 3 boxes for you."
Fuck.
And but yeah, I was wearing those Van low tops for a long time.
Yeah.
But no, like and then there's shoes that I'm big fan of, right? I want a pair, and then I'll grab one and I'll go try it on, and I go, oh, this looks horrible on me.
Yeah.
Like I want to like these, but they fucking look stupid on me.
I like Asics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a one of the pair of Asics that I have. There was only 1,600 or 1,500 of them made, right? And then they did a reprint of them for like another 500. And I was here in Vegas. I found them for $200 or $160. Nice. And at the time, I was sponsored by A6 Wrestling. And the guy,
shit.
So the guy that I was dealing with, I sent him. I was like, "Hey, these were the shoes that you had up in your office." He goes, "Yo, where did you fucking find those?" And I go, "At Undefeated here in Las Vegas." He goes, "You know how much those are worth right now?" And I go, "No." He sent me a link. It was like $3,600. And he goes, "How much you get them for?" I was like, "I think $160, $200, dude." I think I was out the door because I bought like a T-shirt, so I think I was out the door $200. Fuck. And he goes, "Bro, hold on to those."
Did you sell them?
No, I got them now. Still,
that'd be worth $5,000 next year.
It was an Undefeated A6 collab.
Wow, what color?
They're black and white with fluorescent orange tongue, fluorescent orange inside lined of like a lycra kind of fabric.
I've got the green ones with the yellow logo. Like, remember what Bruce Lee wore in? Remember when he wore that yellow? And and he had those kind of like yellow Asics looking shoes. Yeah, I've got those ones.
Yeah. There's actually a shoe that just dropped. Kyrie Irving has a Bruce Lee edition where it's an all yellow shoe and it's got the 3 claw marks across the back.
That's so sick.
Right, it was when he got
That's
scratched.
right. Yeah.
So he's got
Enter the Dragon.
Yep, in Enter the Dragon, he got an Enter the Dragon shoe. So
yeah.
I think he's 2 colorways. One is a black suit with 3 scratches, and then one is the original, which is the yellow base with the 3 red scratches, and then a black. I feel
like going shoe shopping right now.
I'm telling you.
What are you sporting today?
Today I got just some Yeezys on.
Look at
those are some stompers.
Yeah, there's some stompers right there. The old Yeezys. So
yeah, that's what I do. I come to Vegas and I'll walk. I like walking the strip, man. I like people watching. You know.
What are you, a Virgo?
Yeah, no, I'm a Taurus.
Taurus.
Yeah, a Taurus. I like people watching. I'll go down and just dick around, walk around.
Yeah. Are you a loner or do you hang out with mates?
Here, I'm a loner.
You got no mates out here?
I got a lot. I just don't hang out with them.
Yeah.
I'm not out here to bullshit. You know what I mean? Like when I'm out here, it's business.
Yeah.
And,
so where are you going to watch the fight tomorrow night?
At my coach Ray Cefo's house. Probably be there with him. He'll bring a couple of the boys over.
Yeah.
I was trying to get an event done at Twin Peaks over there on Eastern. I wanted to be one of the UFC fighters that hosts.
Yeah, well,
event.
they show the fights there at Twin Peaks.
They're still at 35%, so they're not doing it.
Yeah.
That was the thing. Is like, I think next week, right? Las Vegas is opening up for 50% capacity.
Yeah, well, I just got the call from Thunder from Down Under last week, and they said, "Hey, we're opening back up to 50%." Just letting you know. So.
And you're like, cool. Are you content doing this?
I love doing this. This is my passion. This is what I want to do.
So more than content, you love this.
Oh, this is what I love. This is like, I was like so excited about coming here and talking to you today because this is what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
I'm 51 this year, so Thunder from Down Under has been such a fucking amazing.
Yeah, but you have such a good voice. Like that is in all things for the theme.
Yeah.
You're the golden goose, you know?
Yeah. And I do miss it. I miss live performing. I really do. I miss being in front of 500 and 600 girls doing my thing. But, man, I have my own creative freedom here. I can do whatever I want.
I mean, what if you double dip? What if you
that's what everyone's saying.
And what if you did this 3 days out of the week?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At a specific time when you're free.
Yeah.
And then do that, however
do you know what the
much.
hardest part about this podcast is fucking booking guests.
That's the hardest part?
That's the hardest part.
Really?
Is getting guests.
Is it because people commit and then they fucking flake?
Yep. Absolutely, especially MMA fighters.
I can't do that, dude. I cannot flake. That's like there's.
I'm pedantic on time.
Oh, there's this part of me. I was 15 minutes early today. I was.
But that's everyone. Everyone from Iridium is always here early.
I cannot fucking flake on somebody.
Well,
man. I'm more of just a buffoon, and I'll forget.
Yeah.
But I'll never just go, fuck that guy.
Well, I was talking to the boys before, and I was like, you know what really has made a difference since I got that silly little blue tick on my Instagram.
How dumb is that thing?
I got that, and now. Oh, people are starting to contact me back now. People are starting to actually go and have a look at my shit. How is it in this day and age where a little tiny, and how big is it? It's a bee's dick. It's as big as a bee's dick. next to your name can have such a huge impact on your legitimacy.
Okay, not only your legitimacy, right? Well, I guess yeah, it would just it wouldn't fall under any other thing. Is like the day before you had that, you could type whatever the fuck you want, say whatever the fuck you want. Next day, you say that same thing, canceled, fucked, right?
Yeah, and in this cancel culture, being in this industry that I'm in now, I've got such a fucking big mouth, and I'm an Australian, and I don't really have a filter. I can say some shit that.
Well, yeah, culturally, it's you guys are kind of a no fucks giving kind of people.
That's it.
You know what I mean? And I think like if you look at like the rest of the world's a mostly no fucks giving kind of people, and then like all of a sudden. We're in this weird generation where you guys have guys like me who are still young, but were raised by like the Iron Age guys that it was hard work, keep your nose to the grindstone, shut the fuck up and just work.
So you still got 15 years on the millennium, so you're not fucking in that category.
Right. Like I grew up from ranchers and miners that had a strong sense of work ethic instilled in them. But also I'm in this part now where I'm accepting technology leaking in and understanding that the use of it as a resource is powerful, right? And then we're battling with these people that are millennials that want everything handed to them. Everything is they're owed this. And if they're not owed this, they're offended by it. And they're offended by it, then you should be punished. Right? And like that's why it's like this oil and water now meshing. The generation after this... And even combined now with a year off of school from people, these people getting homeschooled by their mom and dad, not going to school at all.
Yeah.
In like 10 years, even less, 8 years when they graduate middle school and then into high school, we're gonna have some stupid fucking people going in some very important positions.
As if there isn't fucking stupid people in very important positions anyway, brother.
Yeah, but it's gonna get worse. You know what I mean? And we can all look back and go, 2020 was that fucking that's what did it.
Yeah.
So, I still pride myself on good hard work ethic, and I try to instill that to the people that I have now, and I'm trying to make my kids, who are basically this next generation of understanding that reliance on all technology is not good. They're still going to have to put in elbow grease somewhere.
Yeah. Your maturity level is pretty high for someone your age. Like when I was,
so?
Yeah, I do. You have a big vocabulary. You're very articulate in the way that you talk. I think you'd be a great fucking podcaster.
I went to college for 7 fucking years and didn't get a degree.
Yeah, I think you'd be an amazing podcaster. You talk really well.
Thank you, man.
No, I really do.
I've always tried to break the stigma of dumb fighter and people that don't understand what's like anything else going on in the world outside of MMA, right? Like. Yeah. If I was just the person that would just do MMA or just wrestling or just jiu-jitsu, I could talk about that for hours. But as soon as you go, how about Bigfoot? And I go, I mean, I've seen a comic book once.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole premise.
And then that's the extent of our fucking conversation.
Yeah. That's the premises of this podcast, is that obviously it's a sports and entertainment-based podcast, and I love mixed martial arts and I love talking about it, but I just want to talk about it for 10 or 15 minutes, and then I want to fucking talk about your life. You know what I mean? That's kind of how I want this podcast to be. People look at it because they're a fan of yours and they want to know about your mixed martial arts, but for someone to know that, that you love Bigfoot or that you fucking...
Oh, dude. Okay, listen. Twitter, Instagram, whatever.
That's your camera.
That one, send me all your cryptozoology shit. Yeah. I fucking go bananas for any of that wild ass stuff, man. And I love talking about it, and I love just talking about new concepts and new things and the what ifs and the what could be's, or how,
I love that too,
there's
bro.
so much cool shit, man. We're in a it's a fucked up time.
But it's
but in like 100 years or even 50 years, I feel like we're gonna look back and go, okay, right around then is when shit really started to change.
Right.
Like we haven't had a time like this in eons where, like people look back and go, well, that's when it really fucking changed. And I think this is that time for this is our dark ages.
So when did that start, do you think? That whole fucking shift and change? Was it 2020?
I think just right before 2020.
Yeah.
I think right before 2020, there was a lot of catalysts that happened for 2020 to even be possible.
Yeah.
But yeah, 2020, like there were so many people that had it horrible, and I apologize, and my heart bleeds for you, and I extend it. And I tried to help as many people as I could. I made more money in 2020 than I've ever made in my entire life. And I don't know if the powers that may be were just looking out for me because they knew if I was just as broke as I was in 2019 that I wouldn't have made it through 2020 alive. Yeah. You know, maybe the universe goes, I got to bless this dude with something. Because if he has the 2018, 2019 same as 2020, he might not be here 2021. Awesome, you know what I mean? Great. And I took that mentality and I thought about how many people that I foster the growth at my gym at 10th Planet Tucson and Toro Tech Mixed Martial Arts.
It all comes back to you, bro.
I realized that I had a duty and responsibility to look out for my people.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get kind of weird with you. I had this weird.
I love that.
Okay, I had this dream. There was 3 angels that came to me. I talked to Saint Michael, who I pray to all the time, Saint Gabriel, who I never pray to, and then a saint I've never heard of, and I had to actually Google who he was, and it was Azrael.
So you heard that in your dream, but
this is in my dream. These
wow.
these three came to me and talked to me, and I don't care, like whatever this dream was. I don't say I'm speaking to angels, but those are the images that came to me. I was in a cave, right, and they were telling me the world's ending. This was in February of 2020, right after my grandfather died. I took a nap and I woke up startled as all hell. I was crying because I was so soul shaken that I was fucking terrified. They go, hey, the world's ending. Grab you and yours and seek shelter. And I go, damn, is it like a real apocalypse? And like I told my wife about it, and she's like, you're stressed out. You know, you're thinking about what just happened, and you're now thinking, like, now that your grandfather's gone, who's going to be the major patriarch in your family? She tried to diagnose everything, right? And I go, like, I kind of think about it. Well, when they started closing down gyms in Tucson, I couldn't close down. All I did was take black painter's plastic, like Dexter, and I put all around the glass up front. And I made.
What do you mean you couldn't close down?
I couldn't close down. I just couldn't.
Yeah.
Right. There's something in me, and as I get in the story, I'll kind of go back to what these images ended up being for me. I put plastic on the windows and I let people come in through the back door, right? And a couple of my military guys that have PTSD and use jiu-jitsu and MMA as an outlook were like, Coach, thank you for staying open, because I would have crawled into the bottom of a bottle or I would have shot myself.
Wow.
If you didn't have this open, I don't know where I would be. And wow. I don't know where my family would be. And they brought the wife and the kids into this same thing because it was a safe space, right? And wow. I started thinking, like, after everything in 2020 started coming to a thing, I was like, I made my cave. I made the cave, right? The gym got very sweaty, dingy, because I wouldn't let any of the sunlight in, right? I would like.
So you had to put black plastic on the windows?
Black plastic on the windows, right? So it got dank.
So no one could see that you were open?
Yeah. Everyone would come to the back door, and I go.
And this had nothing to do with money. It was all about
this
fucking survival. And
if someone was like, Coach, I want to continue to train, but I can't pay you, I say, okay, cool. I go, those of you that can continue to pay, obviously, please do, so that when this thing bounces back, you all have a place to fucking come back to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if you guys are in dire straits, I'm 100% understand. I just need you here. Give me your attendance.
Yeah.
And just be here.
Good for you, bro.
And when I look back at everything that I did, just like they told me, grab you and yours, and I made the cave, and I kept my people safe. Everybody that was there constantly training thrived. They pivoted. Someone started a cookie company. Somebody started a cake business. Somebody started a pickle business. I had so many of my members all of a sudden turn into entrepreneurs and figure out how the fuck they were going to financially stabilize themselves with kids. Mm. It was then very apparent to me that I had no choice but to stay open.
Right.
And I feel I did the right thing during that whole time.
So do you think it was an analogy dream?
It had to be. It was a message. I don't know who the fuck sent it to me.
Well, see, that's what's going to piss your grandfather off, that he's sending you this message and you're not knowing who sent it to you. Didn't he previously pass away before you had this?
Right before that.
So why the fuck wouldn't he be sending you that message?
And obviously maybe sent it with things that I was already comfortable with.
Yeah.
With, Michael, Gabriel. But
yep.
Again, the Azrael.
Yeah, that's
the other
bizarre.
One.
That's bizarre.
So I never heard of that angel, but he said his name to me. And when I Googled it, he's the angel of death.
Oh.
Azrael's the angel of death. And I went, and then that's when my wife was like, well, the death is the thing that was scary to you.
Yeah, death doesn't mean it could be the death of...
She goes, death is what scared you. And it, obviously your grandfather passing scared you.
Yeah. Yep.
And it scared you into a point of survival mode.
Yeah.
What do I got to do to help these people? What do I got to do to help me and my family? What do I got to do? I could have closed down and just been fine at home. But that wasn't what I was fucking like innately wanted or needed to do.
Yeah, it was like your internal self saying, "Fuck, this is what I got to do," and that's it.
Yeah. But it was so amazing to see so many people that could have just otherwise gave up and quit, start businesses.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
And thrive. And then the people that were already business owners in my gym that signed up with me, I was like, hey guys, they're still doing to-goes at CI Choose Mongolian barbecue. Please go support our member who owns that restaurant. They're not doing too good. By your patronage, it will support them. One of my friends has a kava bar. We were doing kava nights. Like, hey, they're doing to-go kava. Like, can you please go?
That's that drink, right?
Yeah, I go buy it.
Tastes like mud.
It tastes like mud
like
and
dirt,
then numbs you like cocaine.
Fucking love it.
Yeah, I love it. It's great.
I fucking love that shit. Kava. Shout out to the Kava.
Yeah, Kava. Tucson Kava Bar. Go see Whitney and Kevin.
Shout out to the Tucson Kava Bar. Go see Whitney and Kevin.
Yeah, just come to Tucson and see me and my peoples. You know? We got some cool shit for you guys.
I'm coming.
Yeah, get out there.
I'm fucking coming.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Ian, have you ever had Kava?
There's one here in town. There's one here in Vegas. It's a traditional like Hawaiian or Polynesian drink.
Yeah, it's a Polynesian drink.
They use it for ceremonies, I guess. I guess every Polynesian tribe has one, right? Because like at the Tucson Kava Bar, they have the Fiji, which comes from Fiji. They have the Vanuatu, and then they have
which comes from Vanuatu,
and then they have the Solomon Islands one,
which is all in the same area of Australia.
Each one of them has a different effect.
Yeah, right.
One of them numbs the shit out of your mouth, tastes straight like mud water. One of them will numb your throat, and it's a little smoother. And then one of them's got like a more sedative, like downer chill fucking, I'll drink it before I go to bed.
What about toad venom or DMT?
I've never done any hallucinogens or like something that's been coming to me in 2021 is people are giving me books. I've always been told if someone calls you an asshole 3 times in a day, it's probably true, right?
Yeah, I'd say so. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So if people give you 3 books in a month, you should probably fucking start reading.
Yeah.
So right
Have you
now,
been called an asshole today?
No.
Because you're not an asshole, man. You're a fucking good guy,
Oh,
bro.
thank you.
You're a good guy.
You.
You know what, man? What we like to do is with this podcast, a lot of your fans will be listening. A lot of people around the world that listen to this, sometimes they need an inspirational quote or an inspirational sentence. Is there something that you could, in closing, is there something that you could say to anyone out there that's listening that's fucking having a hard time in life, that's got no money, that's got no direction? If you could talk to someone and just tell them, mate, what would you say?
A lot of the time, we are the source of our own problems, right? And everything you want in life or everything you need in life is right on the other side of that excuse you're about to give me.
Wow.
Everything you want in life is right on the other side of that excuse.
Wow.
And I say that all the time because there's always so many people, why I don't have a car, I can't get there. You got your Chevrolets, you know what I mean? You got your Volkswagen, get the fuck over there, figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. But a lot of the things that I hear on why someone can't do something, and I used to have this wrestling coach, Coach Joe Solorio, and he was very, very Yoda about it, right? He goes, hey, stud, I need you to be at this place I'll try to be there at that time, coach. He goes, try and jump. And I would like get up and he goes, no, you jumped. Try and jump. And then I'd like go like that. And he goes, well, you didn't jump that time. Try and jump. And I go, I don't know what you mean. He goes, you either do or you don't. It's not, you're either going to do it or you're not.
There's no try.
Yeah, do or do not. There is no try.
Yeah.
Right? And I was like, God, that was so Yoda of him.
Yeah.
But it's right. Try and jump.
I love that.
Try and jump.
I love that.
And it's just, we put excuses in front of ourselves every single day. And as soon as I started just eliminating the excuses, I started getting a lot of shit done.
Yeah.
A lot.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you guys listen to that. Take note. Do it. Your answer is on the other side of the excuse. So stop making excuses and just make the answer happening. Bro, I've had a fucking really good time today.
Yeah, we got to do this again.
Oh, 100%.
We got to do
it again.
But I want to drink.
When Lent is over, when your fight's over, maybe we'll get you back in after the fight.
I'll be up here 420 for High Rollers BJJ.
A 420.
I think it's a Tuesday.
Doesn't matter. We're going to be smoking in here.
Is it Tuesday? That I might.
Let's do it. We'll do proper 12.
No,
we'll do a few of
I'll
these.
get drunk. I won't get high. But maybe I'll get a little high.
Oh, man. Well, thank you so
dude.
much for coming on the
Hey,
podcast today.
thank you
I
so
love
much.
everybody at Iridium Sports Management. They're just a great bunch of people. When they told me you were going to come on the show, I did a bunch of research on you, and I was like, fuck this. I just knew, even before I met you, I knew I was going to get along with you, and I knew that we were going to have a bunch of shit in common, and we did, and that's what makes for a great podcast.
For sure, man. Again, this has been some amazing energy. The conversation
Did you like
was
it?
lit. Absolutely. Fuck yeah, I loved it.
You'll
Yeah,
do it
this
again?
has been. I would love to do it again. And guys, just obviously shameless plug. Please follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Birchak MMA. Facebook is facebook.com/Anthony Birchak. I'm very engaging with all my fans. I like to talk shit. I like to debate stuff. But again, follow me, hit me up, message me, whatever you guys want. I'm always here. And then watch me March 20th. UFC on ESPN 21 versus Johnny Eduardo right here at the UFC Apex.
And send him all of your Bigfoot videos as well.
Yeah, send me crazy shit. I
Yeah.
like those cryptozoology videos.
I'm going to be sending them to you off the bat now.
Yes.
Anthony,
Thank you, Mr. Ding. I appreciate it.
my brother. Thank you very much for
And
joining.
thank you for the gifts. Proper 12. Thank you. Tidl. Thank you.
Proper 12 and Tidl. Mix them together, it fucking works like a charm.
God.
brother.
Oh, that's rad.
Awesome. Hey, guys, thanks very much. Today's episode is proudly sponsored by Tidl Sport and fueled by Proper 12. This is Marcus Deegan for the What Happens Here podcast. Play my Spider-Man video right now. Bang.